Hello, today's video we have the following content.
Inside story of backstabbing in the entertainment industry, Songyun's emotional fog and resource dilemmas. Sukai suspected of being involved in the storm? When the spotlight goes out, how do celebrities survive in the sure field of capital and desire? The emotional game and resource war behind those hot searches are far more thrilling than film and television dramas. In this arena where each person has 800 eyes, every emotional relationship of a star and every resource flow may hide complex interests. Love is no longer simple, cooperation is no longer naive, backstabbing, open and secret struggles, and even romance packaging have long become open secrets. In recent years, Songyun's emotional trends have frequently attracted attention, and Sukai, who has collaborated with her many times and has a tacit understanding in many hot dramas, has also been involved in various speculations. Is the relationship between the two purely a career bond, or a hidden private emotion? Or is it just a CP marketing under the operation of the team? In an era where traffic is king and public opinion is the battlefield, true and false feelings are often difficult to distinguish, but the enthusiasm of the audience and the calculation of capital have never been absent. At a time when resource allocation is increasingly tilted and top-tier artists are monopolizing the market, Songyun is also facing considerable transformation pressure and resource dilemmas. How can she maintain her position in the post-traffic era? When cooperation with Sukai becomes a stable outlet, does this relationship also hide subtle games and risks? The focus of the story turns to an unknown fairy. She was once a rare clear-stream representative in the circle. She was gentle and hardworking. With her persistence in music and film and television works, she has accumulated a small but loyal fan base. However, she has always been hovering between the mainstream and the margins, and has never been able to step into the glory of the first line. Perhaps because of this, when she met her boyfriend with outstanding appearance and a slightly immature atmosphere, she would fall in love with him without defense. This cultivation relationship was indeed full of warmth at first. They appeared hand in hand in a small street corner that was not discovered by the media, and he stood silently backstage at her concert to cheer her up. She once thought that she finally had a pure relationship, not involving capital, not involving resources, but only about love. But she was wrong. Although her boyfriend is young, he is surprisingly keen on the operation of the circle. He began to appear frequently at her workplace, establishing connections with her team as an assistant or companion, trying to integrate into the network of people she had accumulated over the years. He did not have enough strength, but because of his identity as her boyfriend, he was gradually noticed and packaged by some speculative producers and media. At first, she chose to remain silent, perhaps out of love, or perhaps because she did not want to expose it. But as time went by, her boyfriend's attitude began to change subtly, his concern for her faded, replaced by an urgency and anxiety for the development of his own resources. She keenly noticed that behind the sweet words in the past, there was an unfamiliar calculation and desire for control. She hesitated whether to continue to accomplish or stop the loss in time. After all, publicizing the relationship may not only damage her image, but also be misunderstood by the outside world as hype. What's more, once she is no longer useful, will there be anything left in this relationship? The ups and downs between them are like a mirror, reflecting the real cruelty of the interweaving of emotions and interests in the entertainment industry. She once thought that love could be a safe haven, but she didn't expect it to become a springboard for others to board the ship. And the end of this relationship, is it reconciliation, collapse, or a bigger counterattack? She was once the smart and playful national daughter on the screen, with a warm smile and clear eyes. But few people know that after the sudden family change, her inner cracks have never really healed. The death of her father not only took away her deepest support, but also caused her to have a deep security anxiety about intimate relationships. Under the halo of envy from others, she bared her emotions again and again, leaving only strength to the world. With the prosperity of her career, she ushered in her golden age: constant film and television invitations, endless endorsement advertisements, and almost every work made her a hot search. But it was in this glamour that her fear of marriage became more and more visible. For her, love seems to be an adventure that may get out of control, and marriage is more like a bet that is never guaranteed. She is afraid of loss, afraid of commitment, and even more afraid of experiencing the pain of learning to grow up in the person she loves most again. She has said more than once in late-night interviews, "I enjoy the fulfillment brought by work. In fact, this high-frequency shooting arrangement and non-stop schedule are precisely her protective shield to escape loneliness. Work paralyzes her and makes her forget. But at the same time, it also pushes her into a deeper emotional wasteland. In the fast-paced and difficult-to-distinguish world of the entertainment industry, Chan Songyun chooses to build an emotional firewall with hard work. She takes on plays, joins the crew, practices acting, and does charity work, arranging every minute of her life to the fullest, but she doesn't leave much room for love. Maybe one day, she will slow down and learn to face the wounds in her heart. But before that, she can only continue to live strong as an actress, talking about love with roles instead of the real self. Once upon a time, he was also a dazzling face in a hit youth drama, with clear eyebrows and clean temperament, and was once placed with high hopes of the next generation of idols. However, the heat comes quickly and goes even faster. Faced with the reality that the quality of his works varies and the subsequent resources cannot keep up, he was gradually overshadowed by the wave of newcomers and fell from a rising star to a lost pearl. What's more difficult is that the team he relies on fell into an operational trough after several projects were blocked, and the publicity, business, script development and other links were all stagnant. In this fast-paced and highly exposed entertainment battlefield, there is no sense of existence without topics, and once it is forgotten by the market, it is equivalent to exiting the stage. Today, Hao Fushun seems to still stick to his original intention, trying to participate in some low-cost short dramas and dubbing projects, and even turning to behind the scenes to try screenwriting, but this road to return is long and rugged. He is not short of talent, but an opportunity, a breakthrough point that can allow him to break the vicious cycle of resource shortage. In an interview, he said modestly, "I don't want to be popular quickly, I just want to be popular steadily." But in this battlefield where content is a weapon and traffic is a resource, his idealism seems too clear. Compared with Chan Songyun's workaholic mode of maintaining high output in adversity, Hao Fushun's predicament reflects another embarrassing reality of male actors in resource allocation. Without the protection of capital, lack of emotional topics, and even scandals seem pitifully thin. In this era, even silence has a price to pay. Can he turn things around? Perhaps it depends not only on a good drama, but also on whether he can find his own role in this era of shuffling. The screen romance between Ma Bakwon and Zhang Kangel was originally a win-win commercial performance. The drama was a hit, the CP feeling was full, and hot searches, endorsements, and event invitations followed one after another. However, the world outside the play is not as perfect as the script can set. As the popularity of the drama faded, Zhang Kangel obviously chose a more independent and sober development path. He frequently contacted powerful directors, selected scripts with literary or realistic themes, and tried to get rid of the idol burden and create a more diverse image of actors. On social media, his response to CP topics gradually became cold, and the interaction became more official, as if conveying the signal that roles belong to roles, and reality belongs to reality. Ma Bakwon chose another way to save himself. Faced with a situation of limited team resources and declining personal topicality, he prefers to maintain the popularity of the fan circle, continue to create sweet spots at the event site, and even cooperate with CP marketing for secondary hype. Although this allowed him to retain the attention of some fans for a period of time, it also made many people in the circle question his ambiguous positioning. Is he an actor or an online artist? When a screen couple has different values in reality, one party chooses to cut ties while the other party continues to maintain the popularity, the real cracks quietly appear. Bundling can create a temporary excitement, but it can also become a shackle for personal development. Zhang Kangel tried to get rid of the label, but he also faced the risk of being ungrateful in public opinion, while Ma Bakwon's persistence may be misunderstood as overconsumption. The relationship between these former partners has actually evolved from a win-win model to a blurred boundary of interest status quo. Faced with the expectations of the fan circle and the real rules of the industry, what they are experiencing is a difficult professional dilemma for outsiders under the current Dange CP system. The survival rules hidden behind the hot search terms reflect the various strategies adopted by artists to safeguard their own interests. Since their debut, the unspoken rule of resource exchange has shown the maturity and change in the industry. While every artist is striving to seek self-worth, they must also pay attention to risk prevention and establish a lasting emotional account in the workplace. Ultimately, in this ever-changing entertainment industry, It is not necessarily the ups and downs of emotional stories that attract the most attention, but what makes people think deeply is the countless schemes and decisions hidden behind each brilliant popularity. It can be said that the deviation between reality and fantasy makes this road more difficult, but it is these countless backstabs and choices that allow us to see the multifaceted and complex nature of human nature.
Thank you for watching the video. If this is your first time watching a video, please subscribe to the channel, like and leave your comments to help us develop your channel.